This is Evening News for Sunday, February 16, 2014. I'm Samuel Suknandan. Thanks for joining us. Making the headlines tonight. 34 million Hope Canal Bridge commissioned. Nude body of woman found in clump of bushes. And D Professor retains Calypso Monarch title. And now for the news in detail. President Donald Ramotar on Saturday said the East Demerara Water Conservancy's EDWC Hope Canal project will boost food security and foster other developments for Guyana. He was at the time speaking at the commissioning of the long-awaited Hope Canal Bridge, Component 2 of the Hope Canal project. He was joined by Agriculture Minister Dr. Leslie Ramsamy, Minister of Public Works Robeson Ben, and Chief Executive Officer of the National Drainage and Irrigation Authority Lionel Wordsworth, and among several other government officials. The head of state pointed out that the project, which was conceived after repeated flooding was experienced in the area, has importance from an economical as well as a humanitarian standpoint. The Art Williams and Harry Wendt Aeronautical Engineering School is looking to expand its operations to include turboprop and jet aircraft training. Details in this Svetlana Marshall report.
The Art Williams and Harry Wendt Aeronautical Engineering School, situated at Ogle, is considering a program in airplanes to a larger category of planes. Currently, the school offers license without type rating training, which is done over a 3-year period. Managing Director Nalini Chandraban said, with support from FedEx and Flight Safety Foundation, the institution is seeking to acquire an Airbus A310 to offer Airplane 2 training. It was explained that the acquisition of the A310 would pave the way for the school to offer Airplanes 2 training, which includes at least 240 hours of practical training, inclusive of A checks and C checks, in addition to the theoretical training. Demands are high for engineers who are licensed to repair turboprop and jet aircrafts.
It would, because Guyana is small planes, but the jobs are out there, not necessarily only in Guyana. And if we were School of CARICOM, we've been nominated the School of CARICOM by CASUS, the Caribbean Aviation Safety and Oversight Systems, in 2006 for the region, which is the CARICOM arm for aviation. But if we were to do that, the jobs are out there on the larger planes, and the nationals in the Caribbean would like to get those jobs. Of course, if you can't train here for it, then where do you go?
But to facilitate this level of expansion, she said there might also be need for the establishment of a workshop at the Cheddi Jagan International Airport, where larger planes can be facilitated. The Aeronautical Engineering School is also collaborating with the University of Guyana for the establishment of a degree program in aircraft maintenance.
We're looking at having the graduates, giving them an alternative. If you don't want to stick to hands-on mechanical work, if you want to do management training, we're looking for a degree program with UG, in affiliation with UG. So a normal degree program is like 4 years, so we want to add to our curriculum. We're comparing it right now, looking at overseas colleges and see what, when we do an analysis, a gap analysis, and see what the shortfalls are for a degree program, how we can satisfy those, bring in languages and what have you, management courses, of course.
The existing relationship between the two institutions involves a diploma in technology aeronautical engineering. This arrangement in place allows for graduates of the aeronautical school to complete a diploma in technology at the Faculty of Technology and for a diploma in mechanical engineering. In 2006, the engineering school was nominated as the School of CARICOM by the Caribbean Aviation Safety and Security Oversight. The school is also accredited and certified by the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority, the Jamaica Civil Aviation Authority, the Civil Aviation Safety Authority of Suriname, and the Trinidad and Tobago Civil Aviation Authority. Reporting for the Evening News, I'm Svetlana Marshall.
Opposition leader David Granger has expressed hope that the Anti-Money Laundering and Countering the Finance of Terrorism Amendment Bill will be tabled in Parliament during its next sitting. Here are the details in this story.
Opposition leader David Granger has expressed his optimism that the anti-money laundering bill will be present to the National Assembly at the next sitting, which is scheduled for February 27. Granger said that works are continuing at the committee level in that regard, noting too that the work at the committee is in its final stages. However, during the interview with this newscast, Granger related that he had some amount of uncertainty as to whether the bill will be passed in Parliament during that sitting of the National Assembly. He noted that he has written to the President asking for a meeting to discuss the actual passage of the bill in the National Assembly. On Friday, Guyana was spared from the effects of being completely blacklisted after the Financial Action Task Force accepted recommendations from the Caribbean Financial Task Force to postpone blacklisting Guyana. The recent move by the Financial Action Task Force takes the number of times Guyana has been spared from the effects of a blacklist of 3.
The nude body of a 33-year-old woman was found early today in the clump of bushes some 2 miles away from her abandoned car in Temeri. According to reports reaching this newscast, Savitri Gangadine left her Suzaik home at around 20 hours 30 on Saturday night and told her husband that she was going to drop 2 persons to the Loom Pit in Temeri. Gangadine took her son along with her. When the woman's husband attempted to contact her minutes later, all calls went unanswered. Gangadine's husband apparently got concerned and went in search of his wife in the company of several members of the community policing group. The woman's car was found at a loon pit with her clothes inside. The child was found sleeping. Police have since launched an investigation into the murder. You can read the entire story in Monday's edition of the Guyana Times newspaper. The final touches are now being made to Budget 2014, which is expected to be completed and presented for reading in the National Assembly by the end of March this year. Here's more. Finance Minister Dr. Ashley Singh said on Wednesday that the budget is well on stream, especially since the technical work began a few months back. Dr. Singh explained that the process of policy formation and project identification is an ongoing one and that has started since last year. His ministry, he said, has now refined certain strategies of the various sectors.
It's progressing well. We've had the benefit now of excellent engagements with a number of stakeholder groups, including, as you know, the Private Sector Commission, that's the private sector representative body, the labour unions. We've met with FITUG, we've met with the Public Service Union. Those meetings provided us with an excellent opportunity to get a sense of what their priorities are, and indeed to share with them our perspective on some issues.
However, the minister said that it's unfortunate that the opposition did not avail themselves to an open invitation. Dr. Singh said that invitation remains open and noted that government is still willing to meet with the opposition at any time.
I hope that is not the precursor of some adverse stance that they intend to take in relation to Budget 2014. The budget really should be evaluated on its merit and voted on the basis of its merit.
Despite this, the Alliance for Change AFC has already stated its position on Budget 2014. AFC Chairman Kemaraj Ramjatan said massive cuts will be inflicted on the budget when it is presented. Reporting for the Evening News, I'm Samuel Suknandan. Hundreds of Guyanese lined the streets of Georgetown yesterday to support the annual Children's Mash Parade. Here's more.
Hundreds of children from all 10 administrative regions of Guyana took part in the annual Children's Mash Parade. The atmosphere was filled with music and excitement, while the road saw children of all ages with their costumes dancing, covered in glitter and having lots of fun together. This newscast caught up with some of the teachers along the route of the parade and got their take on the day and what their schools and regions was representing in their floats.
I'm Yvonne McCalman and we are coordinators for the Region 6 Children's Mash Costume National Competition, and today we're depicting folklore. We have on our costume, we have all the folklores, most of the folklores of yesteryear. We have Baku Moon Gazer.
My name is Diane McKenzie, head teacher at David Rose School for the Handicapped, and we are so glad to be part of the Children's Costume Competition 2014. Our float, the name of our float is Folklore in Galore. What we've tried to do is all those traditions, myths and legends that were handed down to us orally, we are trying to pass it over to the generation coming up. So they don't know much about that. So that's what our float is about.
We're from
cultural folklore, we think that we should bring up Anansi, which is a very famous storyteller.
The parade commenced at the Promenade Gardens, heading north along Camp Street, then proceeded east up Lamaha Street, turning north on Albert Street, heading for the National Park, whereby the schools and regions will be judged on their costumes, creativity, and performance. The Children's Mash Parade is one of many activities leading up to the big day on February 23rd, Mashramani Day, whereby hundreds of people from across Guyana will gather to have a grand time celebrating unity and prosperity. For the evening news, I'm Gabriella Patram.
Lester, the Professor Charles, out of the mining town of Linden, on Saturday evening retained his Calypso Monarch title when the competition was held at the Demerara Park before a huge audience. Our entertainment chief, Bishar Mohammed, was there and filed this report.
The 2014 Adult Calypso Monarch gained 409 points. The Professor!
For the second time in succession, Lester the Professor Charles outshone his 10 rivals to cop the coveted title of Calypso Monarch 2014. Performing for the first time in this year's competition before his fans, he dished out The Truth, which was written by him.
Our factory at Skeldon is a perfect example, and for that reason, Your Honor, I got to grumble, yes. I am a Guyanese and I just pay my tax. So please tell them for me when I sing in my Kaiso, I talk in the facts. So when you hear I sing about the economy and the low returns of the country, it's the truth. I talk in the truth.
Moments after winning the title, Charles thanked a number of persons while stating that it was indeed a tough finals.
My sponsors, Rusal Bauxite Company of Roraima, and none other than my manager and sponsor, Marvelous Promotions of Stereosonics, for giving me the strength. To be honest, I feel today this was the toughest competition that I ever been in, to be honest, because music was real clean and everybody bring out their air game. So it was real tough. So the other competitions I could like get a feel that I'm in there, but this one I never had, that kind of feel because everybody bring the game. I didn't really see myself because I heard a lot of good songs, but what gave me a bit of hope? The body language of the fans. So it gave me that hope that I'm there.
Coming in second for the second consecutive year was Roger Hines, also called Young Bill Rogers, with his piece, I Ain't Singing About That.
GPL can't have that go still. But it's scampish when you like some bill. Cause if I say I'm minister's son, pick up your woman, and the party in the news says Calypso man. All you know, the guys so can play on the radio. And if I say them politicians acting like bandits, there's only thief.
The evening news also caught up with the artist, who said that he was well prepared for the competition while reiterating that the judge's decision is final.
The feelings sometimes don't be the good feelings, because sometimes when you know you go out there and you work and you know that you have something appropriate for the crown, in terms of real Kaiso music, delivering with satirical type of music and Kaiso, and then someone come with one punchline and just upset everything. Sometimes you get a real bad feelings, but what are you going to do all that in the game? Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. I still keep coming, that's me. I'm always competitive in any competition. To be honest, I don't afraid of nobody in terms of my Kaiso thing. I know what I have to do, go out there and perform. I know what Calypso is all about. I know what to go and do. But then at the end of it, as they say, the judge's decision is final. I have no more comments on that because the judge's decision is final already.
Taking the third spot was Ken Roy, the Mighty Believer, Fraser, who performed Can't Take the Government No More.
They come 1992 and proper fool up me and you. JD promised the country a better economy, but the man had a good plan that he learned from Burnham. But soon as Jagan dead, they kill all the flags them instead. So tell them, let them know we can't take the government no more.
The competition saw 8 other contestants taking to the stage in an effort to get the nods from the judges as they performed to the delight of the audience. The event was convened by the Culture, Youth and Sport Ministry and sponsored by Banks DIH Limited. The winner walked away with $600,000, while the second place winner will get $400,000 and $250,000 for the third place. Bisham Mohammed, The Evening News.
Join us after these messages for your sport news. Welcome back. Our sportscast comes to you with the kind compliments of MacCorp. And now for the news in detail. The Petra organization kicked off their Milo football tournament with a grand opening on Saturday at the Education Ministry ground. After a colorful march past by Georgetown schools in the tournament, Director of Petra organization Troy Mendonza related how the tournament, which is in its second year, was formed. Director Marlon Cole revealed that 5 scholarships will be given away at the end of the tournament for the footballers who want to further their studies at the University of Guyana. Further, the Petra organization has partnered with the Health Ministry to spread the word on gender violence, as the captain for each team will have a snippet to read before each game is played. Meanwhile, the event kicked off with 4 games on Saturday and will continue at the Education Ministry ground. Sport Minister Dr. Frank Anthony has accused the opposition of delaying the passage of the Cricket Administration Bill, but expressed a willingness to have all of their concerns addressed so as to have a consensus on the critical legislation. Rajiv Brisnott brings us more.
The Sport Minister explained that discussions pertaining to the bill have been concluded at the level of the Parliamentary Special Select Committee and is now on the floor of the National Assembly for consideration. He made this comment despite the fact that the legislation has been deferred at least 4 times when it came up for its second reading in the House.
One of the difficulties we are now having is that some of the persons who are in the committee, the opposition members, they have asked us to delay the presentation to the full Assembly because there were some concerns raised by cricket stakeholders. And because of those concerns, they want to first recheck back some of the things to make sure that what was raised, that there aren't any jeopardies in what we're doing.
Meanwhile, Dr. Anthony feels that the passage of the bill is vital for the development of the game locally.
Our position, the government's position, is that we have gone through this for more than 2 years now. We have been at it. The Select Committee would have had a long session in terms of debating, discussing, and that the suggestions that were put forward by the opposition in committee, we have adopted those suggestions. And therefore, if they would like to have whatever relook they want to have, we don't have a problem. What we, however, would like to see is that this is done in a timely manner and that we can move the bill forward, because I think if the bill is not moved forward, cricket suffers. And we have spent a lot of energy and time trying to put this together. So the earlier we can get the bill moving, I think it would be better for everybody.
The bill sought to establish the Guyana Cricket Board and county boards as corporate bodies and was tabled by government in December 2011 in a bid to end the impasse over the national game here. It provided constitutions for the Guyana Cricket Board, the Demerara, Berbice and Essequibo Cricket Boards. It is understood once the Cricket Administration Bill is passed and signed into law, new elections will be held.
And now for a look at your bridge report. The Demer Harbour Bridge will be closed on Monday, February 17 at 5 hours for a period of 1.5 hours. And the Berbice River Bridge will be closed on Monday, February 17 at 7 hours 15 for a period of 1.5 hours. That's your Sunday, February 16, 2014 edition of the Evening News. I'm Samuel Sugnandan. Thanks for joining us.